Hey everybody, we're giving David Bull, my good friend, his first track experience here at Harris Hill Raceway. This is exactly what it could be like for you. I mean, I was able to pay a guest fee to have him out today, and we're spending about 4 hours driving a few different cars. The first car that my friend David drove was a Miata. Before he drove himself, my race coach Derek took him for a few laps to give him a feel for what driving on the track is really like. Driving on a track is very different from driving on the street. Everything happens faster. The braking zones are quite different. You brake harder and trail off as you start turning, which is the opposite of what you do on the street, which is you brake soft and you usually brake harder as you get to the stoplight. Every corner on the track has a specific racing line that you want to follow, and a lot of newbies say, oh my gosh, I thought you were going to run me right out of racetrack, but using it all the way to the edge is truly how you carry as much speed as possible. Another big difference is how the cars shift gears. Rather than a traditional automatic transmission, in the Miata, you'll see a traditional manual gearbox with a stick and clutch. And then in more advanced and more modern sports cars like the Ginetta, the car uses a sequential racing gearbox with a paddle shift. The manual gears make the driver responsible for choosing exactly when to shift. That control is a huge part of racing because the timing of your shifts can affect your speed and momentum and prevent an automatic transmission from doing something that can get you into trouble if you're already on the edge of grip and a shift upsets the balance of the car while you're in a turn. As David starts driving, you can see Derek helping guide him, explaining where to brake, where to turn in, and where to get back to the throttle. Cornering is one of the most important parts of racing. The way you approach the entry, hit the apex, and exit the corner can make a huge difference in your lap time, especially on the corner before the longest straightaway of the track. It matters so much to carry as much speed as possible right there. What would you say you learned today so far?
That I need to do more stuff like this that expands your capacity. I mean, even when you're going out there going way faster than I would anticipate going, it's like, all right, that's a place of discomfort that I need in my life. But I mean, there's so many little tidbits. One, a good coach like you have.
Yep.
Is huge, that can speak articulately, quick cues. I mean, I jumped from the sidecar into the driver's seat today, learned that I barely know how to drive a stick.
No, you did good. You hadn't driven a stick in 20 years and you took it around the lap, a couple laps.
Yeah, we did stall out on the end here, but I didn't stall out there. I mean, there's so much more to racing and any hobby or any sport for that matter than you ever think about when you watch it on TV or you hear about it from your friends. And just the amount of little details is so, I mean, it's cool. I've enjoyed it. I
also took David out for a ride in my red Miata, and before we got in, he noticed I was wearing my Hans, and he wondered, what's the point of that, and why doesn't he have one?
It's not that we don't care about your neck.
We're not going fast enough. Don't freak him out. We're not going fast enough, and there's nothing here to hit hard. A lot of racetracks we go to, there's walls right at the edge of the track. No. And if you got into a car-to-car accident running 120 mile an hour, it's a big impact. So if you had a Hans on, when I was hitting the brake and your head was doing this number, your Hans, you'd feel it go clunk and it would catch. The stroke on the straps, turn sideways, David. The stroke, pull your head forward, hold your Hans. See, yeah, come back with your head, hold your Hans on your shoulder, go forward with your head. See, the strap's tight, so that's what stops it. So you don't have overextension.
My red Miata and Derek's orange Miata have quite a noticeable difference on track, and this stems from the tires that each car is equipped with. Mine runs street tires, while the Miata Derek and David drove was on racing slicks, which provide a lot more grip on track. Hey, what was it like to drive this Miata?
Oh, so cool. I mean, I make fun of people that drive Miatas just generally on the highway or at the grocery store, but they're pretty fast when you get out there, way faster than I'm used to. So when I was riding sidecar, I'm like, Lord have mercy, we're moving. But I've learned today that tires matter. So I think this one has slicks or something on there so it doesn't slide as much.
No, this one has the street tires. Mine was sliding more. You were in my car. We were driving this red when you said, man, your car slides around a lot more than Derek's orange one.
This one with the street car. The one I drove had the slicks on it. But yeah, I mean, how it will actually grip the road when you're going that fast. I was constantly thinking this is gonna flip. Doesn't. You have to brake a lot harder than I thought you would. You get back to the gas a lot faster than I thought you should. You have to apparently dodge ramps while you're out there so that the car doesn't bottom out after it goes into the air. But
yeah, there's a dip.
I mean, there's just so much. It's a ton of fun. It's an addiction for sure.
Racing costs can add up quickly, but this heavily depends on the car. One question that my friend David had was how much would it cost to operate and race in a Miata series? There's always something that breaks, right? So the shop here can do it. You don't have to like worry about hauling it somewhere. Right. I've always come to about $15,000 in costs of just running it as well. 15 to buy the car, 15 per season per year to run it in terms of tires, or had to replace a radiator, or had to redo a transmission just because it's old. So stuff's always gonna break.
Right.
Yeah. David Bull is the founder and CEO of ARC Financial, which helps entrepreneurs such as myself and anyone who makes over $1 million in income every year be more efficient through a fractional family office service. Billionaires, for example, typically will have staff called a family office that is responsible for managing the family's wealth, deploying it into various investments, but also making sure they are legally protected in the investments that they do. For us, for example, we've changed business entities a couple of times because different entities are taxed in different ways. So to meet our goals of if we were going to raise money or if we were going to get a loan or wanting to give any equity to certain employees, or depending on how much income we wanted to take versus keep in the business, it is advantageous to maybe change through an entity. And the more types of businesses that you do, the more of a headache that can really be to calculate and keep track of. And that's exactly what David Bull helps us with over on the Deal Machine side and personally. David's clients have a net worth from making $1 million a year up to about $600 million or so. So we know each other because I'm your client.
That's right.
Right? How would you describe what you do?
Yeah, I mean, we come around entrepreneurs and handle all the tax, finance, legal affairs that they have going on so that they can go back to the things they love, like racing.
Yeah, and I would say as we've grown, they've been able to tell us, oh, hey, this new law applies. You might want to restructure, business entity this way. You might want to add this to your operating agreement.
And those tires deductible.
Things. Well, I'm all for it for sure. A big part of becoming a better race car driver is doing everything you can to improve. One of the most important ways to do that is reviewing your footage. I'm really fortunate to have Derek as my racing coach. He's not only an incredible driver, but an amazing coach as well. That's why I had him out for David today, because knowing how to drive and being able to communicate quickly and accurately how to drive is a very different skill set, and Derek's so good at both. So since I started working with Derek, I've seen a huge improvement in my skills on track. After almost every practice session and race, we sit down together and go through the footage. Inside the car, we run a system called VBox. It records the video, but also the data like speed, braking, and throttle input. Looking back at the data and footage lets us break down every part of the lap. Derek points out what I did well, and more importantly, what I can improve. And the thing that blows my mind is before we watch the actual video, he'll spend 10 minutes looking at the graphs and tell me exactly what went wrong, and then he'll just look at the video to confirm it, which shows you how in tune he is with something that looks like a foreign language to others. No matter what you do in life, there's always room to get better. So after David's first time out on track, we had him sit down with Derek to review the footage and go through a proper debrief before he hopped into the Ginetta. When it came time for David to drive the Ginetta, he and Derek followed the same process they used with the Miata. Derek took the wheel first to show him what the car is capable of around the track, and then it was David's turn to get behind the wheel. The car they're driving is a Ginetta G56 GTA. It's actually a GTP, which is the same thing as a GTA, but it has traction control and ABS. It weighs about 2,700 pounds and is powered by a 3.7 liter V6 engine that produces 310 horsepower. With a top speed of about 140 miles per hour, it's a serious race car built for performance. So I actually found it while I was doing track days with my Ferrari at Circuit of the Americas. I was going 165 miles per hour with a traditional 3-point harness for the street and no roll cage. That made me pretty uncomfortable as I was starting to pick up speed and get better. So I actually really enjoyed the Ginetta because it is almost half the horsepower as the Ferrari, but it is faster around a track. And a huge reason for that, not only does it have the 6-point harness and a roll cage, but this is a proper race car that is faster around the corners than any street car could be. As a bonus, the car comes with a spec series we do in North America where 20 plus Ginettas compete with each other in identical machinery, so it helps you build the driver's skills without any of the nannies like ABS or traction control. I've raced it for 3 years and I'm looking forward to a 4th. This is an amazing car and I truly believe is the best bang for the buck for a track day car or if you want to get into racing. I also competed against other cars, mainly BMWs and some Supras, in the 10-to-1 power to weight ratio class with the National Autosport Association. I actually got first place in the national title for ST3, which is that 10-to-1 power to weight ratio. So it is not only a great car that has a spec series, but it competes very well in classes that are based on power to weight ratio against other makes and manufacturers. All right, how was driving the Ginetta?
Oh, the Ginetta's fun.
What did you like better?
I mean, everything's more reactive, it's faster, I felt like it held the road. I felt proud of myself for being able to make the manual action work, shifting.
Right, to get it started?
Well, sure. I mean, it is, the starting it in this one is different. Basically, I had to learn how to use a clutch today and then unlearn everything I could going into this one because the clutch is useless after, what is it? You go from neutral to first, and then after first,
yeah, the clutch
is off until we're braking and turning the vehicle off. So, but we didn't just stay in third gear this time. Got to go up to fourth gear.
Why is it louder? You go, this is louder and this is hotter.
Yeah, it's true. I did. I asked. I mean, and as you said, it's made with a lot more sturdy racing equipment.
Definitely would be true.
And so it's not a wussy vehicle like the street vehicles are. That's my layman's understanding of why it's louder.
Oh, okay. The gears are straight cut gears.
Straight cut.
Yeah, so those are stronger, but they don't put them in street cars because they would be too loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely loud.
It's pretty loud. You had the Stilo helmet on too, which has ear cups.
Although I can tell you that once you start moving, you're not thinking about any of that.
No.
When you're talking about quarter of a second decisions before Derek grabs the wheel and tells you don't know what you're doing, you know.
What are you going to be thinking to yourself as you're on your way back home after today's experience?
Well, I'm excited to share it with my kids. They're going to love the video. It's going to be fun for them. I enjoyed it today, so I'll be thinking about how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Do you think you'd want to race yourself as well?
Want? Yes. Ready to commit? I mean, maybe.
I understand. Well, you're welcome here anytime. Thank you so much for coming today.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun. You asked me why I didn't give you a ride in my car versus the demo car.
Yeah.
And so
what about this demo car?
My car's set up to race, so there's no passenger seat. This demo car has a passenger seat, so it's easy to take people for a ride.
And I was told you were so cool, the manufacturer just lent this vehicle to you.
Correct, yeah.
Steward the vehicle.
So that anyone can get a demo ride in the Texas area, because they're primarily on the East Coast. So correct, we are that cool that we were given a demo car to give people rides in.
So if I have any friends that want to come do this with you that live around town, is that something that they can do?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have time to give like everyone who just kind of wants to have fun a demo ride, but if it's somebody who's like serious about like wanting to pursue racing, absolutely. It's like, hey, like if you just want to come and have fun, like this is not really what we can do.
My entrepreneurial clients that want to get into the racing or maybe have started dabbling with
absolutely. Any entrepreneurial clients, they should absolutely come here and check out this car. When it comes to getting a car to race, I feel like it's the best value for the dollar. So if you want to see what David learned today in the car about the steering wheel, it has a lot of buttons and knobs. Check out this related video below and we'll explain everything.